Hey there! We're back for another episode of Cultist Simulator. Alright, so, last time we pretty much drained all our prospects out of the pool, so we can start working on getting these folks initiated into the actual cult. We've got a few more books. There shouldn't be too much longer until we've got what we need. And we just need to make a bit more cash. Alright, where were we leaving off? We got a dread day coming up. I think we're gonna be just okay. Alrighty. Now then, while we are working on things, where do we want to pick up on? I guess now we can start initiating people into the cult. Just like Slee over here. Let's go ahead and just start bringing in the hanger-ons, I think we'll start with. Well, we can't just do them directly like that. We gotta take our cult. We're taking the associate, bring in our favorite lore, and start. And it begins. The formation of our cult shall soon become an army. And while we're doing that, let's go ahead and start looking at these books. Let's try the Traveling at Night series. The Annotated Dream Journals of Christopher Illopoli, sometimes called the only readable occultist. Literate, entertaining, and bewildering. Let's go ahead and get that book rolling in, if I can stop moving the camera around. The wood lies outside the walls of the Mansus, as any student of history knows. The Mansus has no walls. So many sus in that. Alright, we got that going now. Alright. Oopsie. I am just slipping today, my goodness. Alrighty, this should be very quick. The hanger-on now becomes a pawn. A dozen lights blaze. There is no place for shadow in these rites, and no place for mercy. He's just a little guy, but we'll make use of him at some point. We'll go ahead and... I think that matches that color. We'll go ahead and just put him there. Let's start getting everybody into the cult. Now we'll go ahead and just leave that here, because I'm going to be doing this a lot. See now. We also are keeping hold of that so that way we can do some commissions once we get a bit more money. Alright, we're gonna have a sickness coming up, so I guess we're next going to... Let's see. This one is loyal but lacks initiative. Yep. They should be adding up rather quickly. Illopoli describes how he came to make repeated visits to a dream wood. Wood via what he calls silver dreams. Trying to think your way to the wood, he explains, is like thinking your way to being in love. But I did find a secret that helped. Interesting. In other words, he was insane. And so are we. Alright, see now we got 2 of these. We can start building our way up the chain of the moth flames. Actually, let's go ahead and bring these guys down another level. We gotta make some room because we are gonna need it. Back up there. Okay, since we're gonna get sick next pretty soon, we're gonna go ahead and train up a health. We'll go ahead and... Oh, here. Whoops. See if we can't get any more cult scraps. You're from the edge side. They're all pretty much the same stat, but the color at least is nice because they at least line up with all the different spots. Oops. There we go. It won't take too long to get our army set up. Alrighty. I think that's enough money. We can go ahead and buy another book. That's the heart one, I believe. Next. Keep forgetting to do that. And that one is actually one that is not one we have yet, is he? Alright, we got our vitality set. Let's go ahead and read the next book. that. Point. Does that count as an influence? No, it's not an influence, but for some reason it counts as moth. Interesting. Fine. Alrighty. Traveling at Night, Volume 2. The Annotated Dream Journals of Christopher Alopoli, sometimes called the only readable occultist. There is an extensive discussion of the similarities between Alopoli's own dreams and those of the Emperor Elagabalus. Okay, that's quite a name. Who Alopoli regards as a dupe or avatar of the sun in rags. The white is west of the world, Alopoli remarks, and winter does not wait forever. These are all things that we will experience as well. Sun and rags, winter, well, the white. Oh yeah, there's a lot to be gained from just by reading these things and actually reading them. Okay, we've got that going. Let's go ahead and heal on up. Thank you very much. The Orchid Transfiguration. Didn't realize there was a second one of those. Okay, we're gonna have to get that one translated though, so don't have to worry about that. Okay. Next! Just going right down the line. Okay, you're for the moth. Okay, next. And this is the one for Grail. Elagabalus found his way to the White Door at last. Thankfully. Speech can't pass the White Door, and honestly, Elagabalus never had anything very interesting to say. I tried to follow in his footsteps, but I never learnt enough of the White. I suppose I'm thankful for that too, but here's what I do know. And we get... the last of the lores! Winter! This is the value of death. And that is it! We now have all 9 of the lores. The secret histories. Knock. Moth. Forge. Edge. Heart. Grail. And Winter. That's a great sign. We now have a great heart. Even though ultimately the only one we care about is Lantern, as far as our cult is concerned. But each one of these things has its uses. We'll soon be seeing that soon enough. We're at 4 there. I'll go ahead and buy another book. And why not? We'll go ahead and translate this tome over here and finish it off. Now then, we have quite a bit, so I think we can move on to the next step of the Mansus. We've all seen all those other locations, and I'm pretty sure you're curious, how do we get there? Well, first we take our way of the wood. Now, up until now, we've been using passion to go through this wood. We're not going to be doing that this time. Instead, we're going to go a different direction. We're going to go around the wood, as it were, and use some of this lore to find another path to the next door. As you can see, the text will start changing it. There is a house in the wood. This much I know. Here is a light through the trees. Some of these will not change that text, and that is a sign that you have the right stuff. Winter is one of those things that can find what we're looking for, but it's not enough on this one. Knock is always special. The fact that it's a key sign, it's literally the lore of opening things, ripping through the parallels and going in between and out. Only a very powerful one, so of course that one went, but we don't have enough of that. But what can we use? It would appear we do not yet have what we need yet. Or do we? what is the best possible way of trying to find your way around? Why, you have a little light. Approaching the white door. There is a house in the wood. I know something of that house. Enough to find my way to its light? Yes. That is perfect. Having lantern for us is definitely a good way of getting things ahead. Alrighty. We got ourselves another book. The Skeleton Songs! Poems of Greedy Delight composed by the possible pseudonymous Arabella Dusk, the rumored heiress turned madam turned poetess. That's a lot of titles. We'll look into that one soon enough. Alright, I believe we might still be able to work with this, maybe? Nope, we are going to need some lantern to do that. So when we're done going to our next door, we'll go ahead and get back to making our space. But it is very important that we take those dives. Because by going deeper into the Mansus, we get access to some more interesting decks of the cards. Alright, that book is now translated. Now let's go ahead and give it a read, shall we? Flood, or pseudo-flood, suggests alignments between the alchemical tradition of Rubidoux and the older Grail traditions through the Pine Knight's quest for the Cinnabar Cup. Quasi-Rosicrucian's allegory, supposedly by Robert Flood. Well, let's read up and find out what he says. Okay. Here we go. The White Door. These are the bounds about the house, with their mists and their traces. This is the rock called the Temple of the Wheel, high as a church spire, patched with black lichen and daubed with eye signs. I round it, and there ahead of me is the White Door. The light of the house leaks round its edges. Aha. So, this white door seems to lead to the house. Interesting. We have found a deeper path into the Mansus now. In my dreams, I've passed the white door, which has been called the Bone Door and the Gate of Ivory. My voice remains outside the house each time I enter. After all, there is no sound that may pierce the White House. Could you imagine how it's silent that must be? It's like entering that one room full of like the most vocal and sound-absorbing materials ever. It's like crazy how silent that is. Now let's take a look and take a little peek behind the door, shall we? In my dreams, I know the path to the White Door, through the bounds. But that path is pronged with the dead who pass that way. I will need health to resist their chill. So before, we need passion to go through the wood. Because we were dreaming it, we were using our passion to get through and sort of feel our way through everything. This one, we cannot speak. We have to endure everything to get through this door. Now I can approach the white door through the bounds. Now I can press my fingers to it. Feel its chill. Watch it swing open. As it opens, my mouth closes, tightens, heals over like a lost deformity. Around and about me is the cobalt light of the Mansus. Let's see what's behind that door, shall we? Oh dear. We might be in some trouble here. We're gonna have to focus on a few things. Okay, let's store up our money for a bit. Have a bit of an emergency popping up here as I was lost track of my dread. Oh, and lovely. The notoriety is about to kick in too, isn't it? Oh, well, it's just going to turn into an evidence, so at best. Seek the cup in the birthing bed, the Pine Knight is told. The midwife at the birthing bed, to his amazement, is the Mountain Mother. In a fit of awe, he both gelds and flays himself. Ooh! Okay, I kind of cringed there. The vigilant storm burst joyfully from the remains. And out of that, we got another level of Grail. The Great Mother Remembers. It's actually rather important for the sake of lore, having all of these, because then you can kind of piece together more of a story. Because each of these lores has its hour, or its representative of the hour. For example, with Grail, you have the Mother. With the Lantern, you have the Watchman. With Winter, you have the Sun and Rags. With Heart, not too sure about the Heart just yet, but I believe we'll get there. Knife is the... It's always tempting to call this Knife, because the Knife Secret's what it starts with, and it always has the knife on there, but it's Edge. And its representative is the Corporal. The Forge also has another one. The Moth is kind of its own thing as well. I think the Wood might be it. And Knock, I believe, is the Locksmith. Go figure. And the histories, I believe, are just themselves. Either that or it's the Worm. I'm not too sure. Well, the more books we read, the more we'll find out. But first, we gotta get over our dread. And now, here we are, the White Door. By going around the wood and passing this Temple of the Wheel, we have made it through the White Door. With this, we find an icy atmosphere. We're not taking that because that is an element of winter, and that's going to turn into dread, which we have learned rather the hard way. We also have the Orchid of Lights, or Orchard, and the Lodge of the Sage Knight. I think if we are going by what we just read, there was something about knights, and they seem to have gone by Grail, so I think Grail stuff is going to be found here, and Orchard of Lights sounds like it's going to be the Watchman, so let's go there. Hey! Look at that! We got ourselves a level 3 history. With that, I think we can go ahead and do an exploration. Now then. Time to get some opium on the systems, unfortunately. And while we're doing that, let's go ahead and continue filling out our cult. I'm also going to hold back a little bit on studying some books just in case of them stand up some dread or anything. They're not very nice places sometimes. Alrighty. That is now all of our pawns that have been set out. We'll go ahead and move you down. Let's see. Where do I want to put the rituals? Let's go ahead and put the rites up here. Eventually, we're going to have to deal with Poppy, because I would like to have her patronage as well at some point. Alright, go ahead and get us another one of these going. Oh, lovely. We're going to have another Reckless coming in, but I think we'll be fine. Alright, now, for level 3, we now get purple places. The Vanderstaff Collection. A cramped little museum in a provincial town. Long closed to the public since an outbreak of peculiar rapture in the room where they keep the press flowers. Only the very curious would ever pay attention to the place and its closed-warded storeroom of ill-omened treasures. Ill-omened treasures, you say? Sign me up! Nope, more evidence. Now, eventually we're going to start going on little explorations, but we're going to fill out our court first. I think we're going to be safe now. Let's go ahead and do another book reading. The Humors of a Gentleman, Samuel Savage's satirical comedy on the intrigues of the ailing but cunning Johnson. Johnson? Interesting. His mistress, Madeline, her lover Leo, and the upstart Corvino. By the end of the first act, Madeline has revealed a secret door in the walls of the house to Leo, and Corvino is taken consuming capitalized worms. There and that with the worms again. I wonder what's that's going to give us. And we have another contentment, and despair has been sealed. With that, let's go through this white door again, shall we? Now, as you might imagine, there are still more doors to go through. Well, I suppose we should say more doors for us to find. Let's see. Keep on going. Let's go ahead and start bringing these folks into the place. Go ahead and settle that there so that way it keeps back. This one is ready. Also, their information is going to change as we send them in, too. Let's see. Oh boy, we're running low on funds again, aren't we? A little harrowing, but we'll be fine, I think. The play is scabrous and occasionally hilarious. The characters are contrary and capricious. Many of the more resonant lines might well be formulae of power disguised in plain sight. Ooh, we got a Watchman's secret. Nice. Maybe we'll make use of that in the future. Who knows? All right, we have now Victor. Is a sly fellow but loyal. He is of the Edge School. Next, Dorothy. Let's see, I just want to read this over. Dorothy's an enthusiastic sort with an eclectic reading habit. She's fascinated by my hints about the shapes beneath the world's skin. I'm going to try and keep that in mind and see if this changes or if this part just goes away. Time to go reading. The Burning of the Unburnt God, compiled by Hosti Tasmain from oral traditions in rural Persia. Tasmain hypothesizes a pre-Zoroastrian fire deity whose rites were the rites of smiths. So clearly this is going to be a forge lore, and we might get a rite out of it from what it sounds like. Let's read it. I remember Zoroastrianism actually being a real religion, but I've never really taken much interest in it. Alright, what do we got? Oop, we got a furtive truth. And they say... And just as I thought that one had a light one, I'm not sure what that one was again. I kind of misread it. But yeah, we got another scrap. Still gotta be careful, because the higher we climb in the Mansus, the more likely we are to get things we don't really want. In fact, we'll wait till that next season's up, just in case. Sort and have turned her enthusiasm. Oh, okay, so they do say what they say. Dorothy is an enthusiastic sort, and I have turned her enthusiasm to our advantage. She is of the heart. And you are of Lantern, right? Yep. Believers. Ah, so they all get the little diamonds in the back there, too. Next, we get Pope. Bellowing an unorthodox Catholic with a mystic streak and an untrimmed beard. Whoops. Okay, we'll go ahead and start digging through again. Whoopsie. Now, if I recall, when we were going through the Wed, I believe the Passion was not getting exhausted, unless I was misremembering that. But when you're dreaming with health, it's exhausting you, it seems. Oh, we're gonna have a silent month coming up. Alrighty. Pope Clifton is now a believer. Now Clifton improvises new prayers, rich with solar metaphors. He still shouts like a soldier and drinks like a sailor. Ah, nice. And he is our member of the Watchmen. Lovely. Next, Laidlaw, tinkerer and mechanic with an uncanny neck. Whoa, 1 second. Take a deep breath around the tube. Tasmain ultimately concludes with apparent reluctance that deity was a goddess. He suggests that its gender may have been the cause of its suppression. The rites described are often eerie, sometimes grisly. Well, you know how people are when it comes to gods and not wanting to be exactly what they want them to be. The rite of the crucible soul. I don't like the sound of that. Or the looks of that, I should say. Now, once this one turns out, we can be able to... I'll show you how these things kind of work. And let's go ahead and study the skeleton songs next. In Arabella's introduction, she explains that the book was to be illustrated, but the Suppression Bureau would not permit it. She hints that the illustrations still exist somewhere. The book is dedicated to Sir Parzival of the Red Cup. Gee, I wonder which lore we're gonna get out of this one. So yes, whenever it talks about cups, blood, the All-Mother, things like that, that's gonna be all about the Grail. I mean, it's literally called the Grail. It's a cup. Oh yeah, we want to focus a bit more on funds, I think. Maybe we should wait till we get a bunch more. Maybe we should start pushing these up the line. Alrighty, Laidlaw. Laidlaw has begun to understand the limitations of ingenuity and the power of sacrifice. He is, of course, a member of the Forge. Next up, Auclair. Auclair has a scholarly aspect and a morbid streak. Hopefully we can make use of it from our side of things. Alright, what do we get now? We don't want that! Let's take this one. Well, that's some... Well, that's not pulled at a good time. Actually, wait, this is a perfectly fine time. Because it's gonna pull one of those. Ah, I was hoping it was gonna do the dread. Oh well, that's fine. So yes, as you can see, the higher we go, the more likely it is we can draw a fascination card. Oh well, that's not that bad. That's just something that we can be able to keep the pace with most of the time. Alright. Auclair is quiet, meticulous, and remorseless. She is of the winter. Next! We have Cat Caro! As she styles herself, earns a living as a stage medium and a fortune teller. She may have deeper talents. Let's see if we can find them, shall we? The 26 delightful fruits, the 7 chastisements, the 9 gardens, the 4 regrets. That's quite a bit of songs of these skeletons, and it looks like that we can be able to use these to level up more on the Grail side. A very dangerous one, if you ask me, by the way. Oh, let's go through the doors again, shall we? Okay, we'll go ahead and... Actually, no. We're going to go ahead and... do a bit more studying and leveling up these guys. Caro is now a believer. And of the Lightning side. A bright-eyed, watchful woman who recalls her dreams perfectly. And dreams are have a lot of power in this. Next up, we have Sylvia. Sylvia lost her eye in the woods when she was 9 years old. Every year at Candlemas, she returns to the place she buried it. Well, let's see if we can help her find it again. Get ourselves a nice, easy day, looks like. Ooh. I have to worry about a bit of dread, unfortunately. It's fine. Maybe in this case we can be able to use some fascination. Sylvia is now a believer. Sylvia has a detailed knowledge of roof ridges, of the river at low tide, of Irish whiskey, and of conjuring tricks. Yep, that sounds like a member of the Moth clan if ever I've heard one. Next up, we have Enid. Enid speaks softly, and sometimes her gaze doesn't focus on anything visible. It may be that you've dreamed the same dream. Well, let's see if she can dream our dream a little more. Over here. Alright, well that is a pulsing air. Whoa, we should actually read some of these things. The hours have been called unmerciful, but they permit sleepers, sometimes, to walk in the orchard of light, where each fruit glows like a sunset, where the roots of the trees are shaped for peaceful rest, where the mist soothes the heart. I was there last night, and the taste of the fruit lingers, sharp and sweet as the passage of spring to summer. Okay, that makes sense. One, that would be... That's a pretty high level. That's a level 6 influence of the heart. Cool. Wonder if it'll turn into anything. Yeah, I probably should have been keeping those things in mind. After all, they're very unique spots. Alright, we got our Erudition. Let's go ahead and level this up. Enid is now a believer. Enid speaks softly, and sometimes her gaze doesn't focus on anything visible. She sees things that others don't. That's just a bit more details there, and she is of the knock. That explains why she can see more. Next up, we have Neville. Neville pauses before he speaks and flinches easily. He laughs whenever he thinks you've made a joke. My wager is that he's gonna wind up in Moth. Alright. You're gonna have to get a bit more opium in there, sadly. Oh, and we probably should put some reason. Erudition. Lots of erudition. Welcome to the club. Neville pauses before he speaks and flinches easily. He's sensitive to deeper matters. Oh, he's from the Nox side. I see. Interesting. Now, I don't believe there's any followers of the histories. They're kind of special. Yzabet. Yzabet has always been most comfortable by moonlight. She has excellent night vision. She is often overlooked in daylight. Next! Ooh. Oh, no! Well, we got our contentment, but we made ourselves sick, so we are going to need to get ourselves unsick ASAP. A little extra cut money it is, then. Go ahead and spend some erudition. And on the next one, we're going to have to get some vitality in us. Yzabet sleeps in fits and starts. She rises at dusk to do the things and Yzabet does. My goodness. Moth of use. That means they're a mad woman. I wonder if their lores change. Clovette. Clovette is happy in a way that brooks no counter-argument to happiness. Sounds to me she might wind up either Grail or Heart, in my opinion. Ooh, that's a glimmering. Nice. I prefer a glimmering over what I thought it was about to be. I thought it was about to be a restlessness. Alright, I think there's... No, wait, we gotta keep that open. Alright, it's Clovette. Determined happiness now borders on the fanatical. Ah, she is Heart. There we go. Next. Leo is an earnest sort with an interest in the occult. He hangs on your hints about the invisible arts. Well, time to teach you a few things about that, then. Ah, we got some free vitality. Nice. That's gonna help us save some coin. There we go. Oh, we almost forgot to put our overtime in there. Once again, determine your work is acceptable. Give me my money, sir. Thank you very much. Leo is an earnest sort, but he's prepared to do what he must. He is now a believer, and he is also has heart. My goodness, a lot of people have heart. Nice. Next. Rose. Rose is a sly miss, and she recognizes you as someone uncommon. Nice. That's right. You can do nothing with that tentative evidence as long as I keep my nose clean. We got ourselves another truth. Lovely. Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and just empower some of our stuff here. Rose is a sly miss, but loyal. I might consider as well trying to make one of these a bit more if I can. I've never really figured out how. Elridge, an elegant man of inelegant habits. I'm guessing he is of the Grail. Although, I'm not too sure what's going to happen if I do make them someone close to me. Alright, let's go ahead and take another dive. Let's see, did I read this apart again? Now I can broach around and about me. Yes, okay, cool. I might want to go back and see about what everything else read. Alrighty. Elridge has almost learned not to pick his teeth with his knife in conversation. He has not yet learned to leave his knife in his boot. Oh, never mind. He is at the edge. He is literal edge case. I'll make sure I had them organized rightly. Alrighty. Next up, we have Saliba. Saliba is a man of prodigious appetites. Ah, he's the Grail one. He is long past the point where their satisfaction has given him any pleasure, but he has learnt so very much. Okay, got some more erudition. We'll go ahead and level you up. Little restlessness never killed anybody. Oh, lovely, we're gonna get sick again. Alright, Saliba. Saliba understands blood. He does not yet understand birth. There we go. First one from the Grail side. Okay. Next up, Valciani. Valciani has operated her establishment for almost 20 years. She has never employed an assistant. Her hands are terribly strong. Let's see if we can make those hands work for us. Oh, I almost forgot to get back to work. That would have been very bad. Let's see. So we've done the Orchard of Light. Let's go ahead and get us another Furtive Truth. White door opens. Many of the dead enter the Mansus through the white door. They wander its corridors in silence until they are lost. Some embrace each other, some devour each other. Some force their way into the dreams of the living. A few record their memories on the Mansus stone where it is soft. They scratch it with their nails, you see. Last night, I read one of those memories. The Furtive Truth. We can use that to go up to the next level again. Keep it going, if you don't mind. Oh, wait, I forgot about that. Oh, that's fine. We got another season. We can work with that. Valciane's ingenuities are endless, and her grip is stronger than a blacksmith's. Nice. The forge you go. Next up, we have Rhaenyra. Rhaenyra has been found not guilty 3 times in 3 separate jurisdictions. She will likely never be found guilty of anything. My goodness, that is a lot of luck and very sneaky of her. The evidence is almost out. Okay, take that erudition, level that up again. And I guess we're gonna have to spend a little money on this particular one. Rhaenyra continues to pursue her appetites discreetly, although her ambitions have grown. Oh, she's another one for the Grail. Violet! Whoops. Violet has always been unstintingly of her time, easing the pain of the dying. So she's gonna wind up in winter. Easing the pain of the dying, huh? What is she, a funeral director? I'm not going to the white door. Let's go to the Lodge of the Sage Knight. Ooh! Just got something very interesting. It's a time-limited thing, but it's still a very interesting thing. Last night, I dreamt of a blue silk pavilion overlooking the cloudy labyrinth of the Bounds. I listened to the mistress of the place speak of other visitors. The Suppression Bureau come here. Did you know that? I think they hope to recruit me as an ally. She snorts derisively. After what they tried to do to Christopher, but their folly is your fortune. I will tell you something that may help you, if the Bureau ever troubles you. I'm beginning to think that each of the answers that you get from here tells a small tale. Now, this is actually a very important item that may give you a interesting chance to fight evidence should it come to that. I've learned something that will earn me a favor, once only. This will preserve you or a follower from imprisonment, but it cannot be relied on. It's not exactly a guarantee, but it lasts a little bit, but it does go away, and honestly, if you can control yourself, you're going to be perfectly fine and never really need that. But it's there if you need it, if you know how to get a hold of it often. I suppose that makes sense why the the Pavilion of the Sage Knights would have a letter of authority. Or a favor from authority, I should say. Alright, time to spend a bit of money on medicine. There we go. And now we're back down to 1 fund again. Thank goodness. Violet likes to paint. She has a gift, although she's always been very modest about it. She never puts human figures in her paintings. There are enough people in the world. And she is of winter. Bump, bump. Next. Tristan! Tristan dislikes distractions. Tristan, get things done. I like Tristan. I would like to buy a book soon. We've been really fighting the funds lately. Maybe after this next work we'll be able to buy one. Oh, yay. Tristan dislikes distraction. Tristan likes results. So do I! I will gladly take somebody with some forge. And the last one! Porter was a barber until the court case. Did you Fleet Street somebody? I think he Fleet Street somebody. And now we have that. Let's go ahead and do the next one, shall we? Since we already have an erudition. Thank you very much for that. I think from now on as well, I'm going to keep at least one of the lores, if I can. Just to make it nicer. When we do future playthroughs, I'm going to be a lot less reading of everything. Because we've been to everything. I'm going to go backwards in time, actually. I would like to see if we can get one of the older ones. And I want to read the lores that we get from these things. Because I missed out on those before. Alrighty. Porter plies his razor and his scissors to the great advantage of his friends. That's right. For some reason, barbers tend to end up being in Moth. I remember that from the Book of Hours, that there was a barber's chair, and it seemed dedicated to Moth for some reason. Something about the sound of scissors seems to drive people mad. Which is weird, because you would think that would go under Edge. And alright! Our army has been recruited. Should we put them to work, you think? Or perhaps we should still hold on for a little bit. Or there is more we can do. My follower will kneel as a novice and rise as an initiate. I will administer the necessary oaths myself. We may have made ourselves a nice little army, but it's not a strong army. Now we can make them strong. Thanks to... When it comes to leveling up, let me show you an example here. Where was the other one? Here it is. Bum, bum, bum. To promote a believer to a disciple, I'll need to provide an appropriate aspect for the cult, to at least the 7th intensity. So, even though this is of our trappings, it doesn't have enough. But this? Well, it's literally the 6th one. Now, for everybody else, we could not yet be able to promote them. But the followers of the Watchmen, because they already have a level of aspect of Lantern to themselves, they get some default bonus points. So we could be able to upgrade Slee, Hope, and Cat. So we're going to go ahead and get all 3 of them upgraded while we can. And technically, we could use these eruditions to make everybody else level up too. It will take some time, but we could do it if we really wanted to. In fact, we could actually use Reason to do it as well, so that could speed things up. Although it probably will cost us some. Let's see. How are we doing here? Now, you might be wondering, why is it that we keep doing this job? It really is the best work we can get. But eventually, something else will help us get even more money. So right now, we just kind of work through it. Ah, we're at 4. I think that is now a good time to buy her another book. Oh, get in there. There we go. Alright. Oh, we get a level 1 cult scrap. Good. That's what I was looking for. Time to read. Through the wood. I walked in the wood last night, and the scissors worked in the distance, and the furred things crammed my mouth and swarmed my ears. I felt the old urge to drop to wolf fours and nose among the roots. But I remembered that I walk upright by day, and I know fire and steel in words. And at last I found where the velvet had concealed a secret on tree bark beneath moss. I read it, then with the tips of my fingers, and I read it, and then with the tips of my fingers, and I think now that I could write it in full. Oh, very interesting. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do those a few more times, because I do wonder if it, depending on the result we're getting, if it actually says something different. So okay, so it does exhaust it as well. Good to know. Thank you, Contentment, for being there. Alright. He navigates. Now you are the map. He illuminates. You are the darkness. He is not compassionate. You will not show compassion. Our compass is knowledge, and our course is glory. There it is again, glory. Steele, a disciple. Slee's headaches have become crippling, but his theories grow more practical by the day. His poetry's getting better too. Wonderful. Let's go ahead and upgrade the rest, shall we? It's also important to remember that things like those influences that we could be able to gather could also be able to use as trappings in this other section that had been there called trappings. So we got a lot of options. Oh, hello! We have just made a very interesting level of things. Morland's is closing. I'm moving on, Miss Morland informs you. My stock is largely exhausted, and the Suppression Bureau are taking an interest. Uh-oh, Suppression Bureau are not good people to be dealing with when it comes to us in the Magus profession. So it's goodbye. This last book is nonsense, but I've tucked some interesting papers into the back, as a thanks for your custom. We got something deep, mystery something. A dreadful souffle of half-digested rumors about the secret worlds and irrelevance of contemporary morality, including a catalog of unlikely and probably invented debaucheries. If I've bought this from a shop, it probably means there is nothing else of interest left in stock. Morland's is closed. We will no longer be visiting there. But we could make it a headquarters. Because this headquarters is only temporary, and it does nothing for us while we're here, really. Except one little thing that we've not really taken advantage of yet. Well, we could if we wanted to. In fact, you know what? I think I will go ahead and show you what the advantage of that is. Let us go ahead and search for a hireling. Now, we do have a nice bunch of pawns and believers and followers and disciples, but we would never want anything bad to happen to them, would we? I know I wouldn't want anything to happen to them. Also, this book, we can't even read it. It is literally nonsense. All it means is that it's the end of the line for them. So, we could sell it. So we'll go ahead and just put it over here. Now, we transition over to visiting the auction house for a few things. Let's go ahead and pay this fella something. I'm gonna show you something nasty. See, we like our pawns, we like our believers, we like our disciples. They're all people of a sort, I suppose. Alrighty. We're not gonna worry about the peculiar wood. Actually, wait a minute. Just for the sake of hearing the lore on things and see if it changes. While I was returning to the depths, one appeared in front of my eyes, whose mouth was sealed. When I saw them in the great emptiness, I cried out. I think that last night I met another soul in the wood. I will never recall exactly what we said, one to another, but I think that we will recognize each other in the waking world, or in the waking world. I remember as well that we had one of these instances pop up, and they were like trapped in the wood, and we helped them. So this seems to change every bit now and then. So it's good to at least check it out every now and then. Isn't that cool? There's so many things you can hear and listen and learn just by paying attention and stuff. go back here. Now, I'm sure you're wondering, hey Max, why are you wasting your money on getting this fortune teller? Well, look, they do have stats. They can be really useful. In fact, I plan on making a use of them. Let's see, Clifton's devotions have grown complex. His eyes have grown wide and shining. His voice has become even louder. Oh, it's nice to have a disciples. Let's go ahead and get another. Kataro, you're up. Alrighty, we are doing pretty darn well. Okay, we've got now 3 furtive troops. Let's go ahead and upgrade that one as well. Let's go ahead and throw you in there. I'd say we've done a pretty good job so far. It's just keeping these funds has been really difficult, hasn't it been? We've always had something that just kind of really pushes us back down every time we try to do something. Now then, we could try to do something of interest. We could maybe use this hireling to go do a thing. Do we want to? Let's hold on to them for just a moment. I want to show you what you can do with our headquarters. Because you see... Oops. Let's go to the Orchid of Light. We only got a glimmering. The Sun and Splendor. The Hour who once ruled the Mansus was known to walk in the orchard before his terrible division. Sometimes his remnants walk here still. Sometimes I see the chilly radiance of the Menacate through the trees, or the chillier radiance of the sun in rags. Were they to come upon me, it might be my end, but to see them in the distance is a gift of insight. Now, I know that the sun in rags is something interesting. The Sun in Splendor was an hour who was divided. Wait a minute. Divided. His remnants are still here. Okay. So the Menacate is a remnant, and the Sun in Rags is a. Oh, interesting. When I think the Sun in Splendor, I'm seeing this ball of fire with a crown on his head and a radiant halo of light all around it. When I think of Sun in Rags, I'm literally thinking of a sun in rags, and like a burnt out sun, like a ball of iron covered in rags, and it's a broken crown. The Menacate, I wonder what that is. I might have to find out what that means. But that's interesting, that the Sun in Splendor has been split in 2. Interesting. Very interesting. And I wonder as well, because I believe the Sun in Rags is the lore in charge of the winter, and I wonder if the Sun in Splendor, the Sun in Splendor the Sun in Splendor is clearly what this used to be, but I wonder if the Menacent is also one of these things. Very interesting to think of that. There's so many connections. It's more connected than Dark Souls. Go ahead and put you back in the line up here. But we have done a lot here so far, I'd say. Oh, we got discipled up? She still performs in the theater sometimes. Katkaro, the posters say, finds the path. Katkaro knows the way. Interesting. Now then, what to do next? Should I work on getting everyone else into the disciple levels? Let's see. Or should we use people? You might also notice that the amount of aspect these guys have now is at level 5. The same as this fortune teller. Let's see. That is a very good thing. Because at this basic level, there's only like 2 points out of them. A pawn is literally only a little bit of edge, because they're just thugs. But we can do a little bit more. In fact, I think we could do something. You know what? I know what I want to do next. We'll go ahead and upgrade the pawns. That sounds like a good thing to do to me. Let's go down the line and work on the pawns. In fact, let me try something. Yep, it still works on the same exact way. Okay. Well, let's go ahead and level up some pawns, shall we? Might as well. Got our erudition over here. Let's go ahead and level you up over here. Good. Let's see. We're going to have to move that into the talk spice. Okay. We'll do something after this is done. Now, before going to the auction house, we gotta get a lot more money. And oh, shoot, we forgot to put a raisin in here. I wish it would just be a magnet and just pull it in, but I guess we have to make the choice to do the effort, don't we? Alrighty now. Next. So now our pawn has been turned into a percipient disciple. Each of these pawns can actually become a little extra. This one became a lantern one due to his color here. And all of these have their unique benefits to each of them. Moth is a weirdo. We're gonna do him last. There's a reason for dealing with him last. I'll let you know once we get to him. But all the other ones, we'll go ahead and just level on up. No reason not to do it, I think. Go ahead and put our introduction here. And then we'll read our last book that we have from Morland's. Seems fitting to me. Alright, little bit of reason over here. Oh, why are you over here? Go over back there, if you don't mind. Thank you. Alrighty. Next we have now we have a silent disciple. Loyal and quiet as falling snow. Very nice. Now. Hey, where'd the hireling go? Where'd the hireling go? Did I run out of time? I must have ran out of time with him. Oh, darn. Oh well. That's a wasted coin out of that too now, isn't it? Okay. Let's go ahead to the orchard of light again. Oh, nice. Oopsie. Let's see. Last night I walked in the orchard of lights. I plucked the fruit, which is always ripe, and consumed it in 2 bites. The taste is not to be forgotten. As I licked the glowing juices from my fingers, I saw a message carved in the bark of the tree. When I woke, I recorded that message, all I could remember, in my diary. Nice. Another one of those. Perfectly nice. Darn, I guess we did kind of waste that. Oh well, we could have made something else happen there. Let's go ahead and keep on working on our pawns, and shall we? Oh boy, we have a bit of dread, and... Okay, one of them's gonna get eaten up. That's fine, that's fine. Also, we might want to consider leveling up again. We have the means to, after all. That'll be the next round. Yeah, we don't have to worry too much about the dread so far. Let's go ahead and read the last book. On closer investigation, the work seems to be a theory of aesthetics, or perhaps a set of warnings about the dangers of painting. That's right, painting, for whatever reason, perhaps it's because it's so tied to such a passionate thing, and to dreaming, and being such a close to imagination. Well, sometimes you can imagine a little too hard. Let's see, we now have an avid disciple. Loyal, but greedy. There we go. Get the next one. Back to work we go. Ooh. Further truth. We'll take that. Let's see. Many of the dead enter the Mansus through the white door. They wander its corridors in silence until they're lost. That's I read one of those memories. That's... Oh, yep, we've seen that one before. Good. Now, if I recall as well, you can convert these into other ones But you need a lot of special ways to do it, so we'll have to worry about that later. Alright. Puncher writes distractedly of his hatred of colors and his yearning for death. He hints at a great work he has envisaged or begun, where the palest of paintings will enthrall the world. He returns again and again to certain compelling phrases, which he claims are the secret words of winter. And that gives us now 2 of those. We could level that up if we wanted. Well, might as well. We do actually kind of want to have a level 6 of each of them, because there's a reason for that at some point. Next we have a lively disciple, loyal and always ready with a song. They're basically Pippin from Lord of the Rings. Not the brightest bulb, but very jolly when he needs to be. Next, just a few more to go. Let's see now. I guess we can go ahead and level this one up. We'll come across more later on, after all. Why did I go to that one? This is the one I wanted to do. Oopsie daisy. You know, I'm curious to see what happens. Oh yeah, that's just how you go to the wood. Doesn't matter. There's nothing else you can do with that. Oh, we got lucky. We didn't have to do overtime. We got dread. That's not good. Alright, now we have a sturdy disciple. Loyalty and muscles. Next up. From the forge side of things. Alright, now we got a glimmering. Now we'll go ahead and take you 2. And we'll get another level of good ale out of that. Alrighty, nice. We didn't have to do overtime. Oh boy! Just using the passion alone ends up getting some fascination. Not a fan of that. And we're gonna have to spend it to get some more opium, unfortunately. But hey, we've done all the books from Morland, so that's progress. We now have a practical disciple, loyal and good with their hands. We're gonna skip over the pawn on the moth side there. And then level you on up. Lovely, lovely. Oh, we have some commitment there. Nice. And one last visit, I think. To the Mansus. Okay, and then... Whoops! Did it again. Bum bum, there we go. And now we have a dexterous disciple, loyal and clever with locks. Now then, the last one. The Pawn of Moth. Oh, he's a special case. He's a special little case. Let me show you what happens when we level up the Pawn of Moth. Oh, how special he is. Orchard of Lights? But another fascination there. Accidentally grab that. Okay, do another while we can. And then I think next round. Alrighty. Good, good, good. We got a 6 of carps. Anything else we care to do? You know what? We could go ahead and level these up, couldn't we? Oh, why not? Let's go ahead and level up the Sexton's Secret. Might as well. Get that power up as best we can, after all. So, our fellow here, loyal, if peculiar. Peculiar even for one of our kind. You might notice he has a timer on his level, and everyone else doesn't. That's because he's a madman! This man is insane, because he is a follower of Moth. The Moth is the god of... It's the lore of the madman. And he will not be here long. Let's just say that. So you know what? Poppy, I got somebody for you here. I think I found the perfect aspect for you, buddy. And we'll go ahead and enter the further truth. We were sick, I didn't catch that. Spend more money. At least we don't have to worry about spending too much money, but we do still need to save up a bunch for the sake of the auction house, where things cost extra. No, boy, do they cost extra. Alright, got the Erudition. Let's go ahead and level you up now. Ooh. What just happened? Oh, that's right! Poppy! So, with Poppy... Let's see. A tiny packet of tiny treasures. A gift from Poppy! She'll see me again, in the season of rags, for me to make the introduction I promised. For we are promising to give someone an end. And this Spintria. Spintria is a very important currency. Spintria is how we pay the patrons. And it can be used for a handful of things as well. Initiates of the hidden world use Spintria to pay for services. They can easily be sold for more traditional funds. Silver Spintria are more valuable and usually display scenes of debauchery on the reverse side. Spintria can be sold for more traditional funds at the auction house. And considering all the debauchery on them, that explains why it's for the aspect of Grail along the side of him. They're basically magic money. Oh, and we did get 10 coins! Hello! We got rich. But Poppy is gonna be on our tail in a bit, so we kind of have to be ready for her. But you know what? Let's use this money. We're gonna go... We perch on alarming right-filled chairs in a windowless auction room with vividly burnt orange walls, waiting for the auctioneer to announce what he's offering. The reek of the new paints makes the brain spin. Hit start to see what's on offer, or add an item if you like to sell. Alrighty, we got a Latin grammar. We already know Latin, we don't care about that much. Oh dear God, we are going to have... Oh dear double God, we are got a problem here. Great, we got all this money, we're going to be spending it apparently on a bunch of stuff we don't really want to. Lovely. We are going to get a bunch of restlessness and we want to cancel that out. And there we go, now we got a boat. At least we can move a little bit faster when it comes to this. Let's see. Oh, right. A crowd of pinched faces, glinting eyes. Who will bid? The item is auctioned on the... So, the item that's on auction will always show up in this little spot here, just like it should, like with the grammar of Latin there. This one is Dabilis Murarum, in Latin, an 18th century epic poem by the pseudonymous Solipsistos. Interesting name. And I think that introduction to the auction might be what we need for the last little bit, I think. But no. We're gonna finish up Poppy's. Actually, no, I think Poppy, that's a good way to continue with next time, I think. Yes, I think we have done enough for today. We have made a small little army of pawns and disciples, and we can be able to make the rest next time if we wanted. And now we actually got enough funds that we might actually spend some time making some commissions, perhaps, and going to the auction house. We got quite a bit, after all. And then we just got this other little timer going, which will be how long he has left, let's say. Alright, I thank you very much for joining me through this little adventure of the Cultist Simulator. I hope you have been learning a lot from this experience. I know I have, and I'm going to continue doing so. Thank you very much for joining me. Be sure to live life to the max. I'm out. See you next time.